Hello and welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda and we're here today with Squares and Rectangles Part 2. Part 2. We did have another one where it says it was Squares and Rectangles. And it's Free Pattern Friday! Yay! It's Free Pattern Friday. I love Free Pattern Fridays. Ever since we started this thing, it's been one of those things where you wake up, oh yes, I've got a plan like Free Pattern Fridays, and it's no stress, it's all fun, it's all great. Now, the block we will be showing you how to sew is this, and it does come I've had so many requests, how do I use up my jelly roll strips? This one fits perfectly into a jelly roll. They're all 2.5 scale, so your smallest piece is this, 2.5 inch square. But first, before we get to that, the sewing bit, I want to talk to you about Kate at Quilting with Kate Quinn of FabriKated Quilts. Now, her YouTube channel is going to be in the show notes below, as well as our Facebook group, which is a 24/7, 364 days of the year. There's a virtual sewing room where you can have a sew date with and get to know the members of that group. Is posting pictures. We're having a lot of fun. It's all good. We also have the show notes. In the show notes, we have the Zoom link for the monthly show dates with all of the dates that are scheduled out right until December. Because when we're filming here, it's kind of like it's the first Saturday of the month, and with the exception of holidays and then it's the second Saturday of the month. But all the dates are listed there. You can put it down on your calendar and come join us. But first, let's get to Free Pattern Friday and sewing our block, Squares and Rectangles 2. Okay, so we're doing this, Squares and Rectangles, and I'm not sure whether you can see this. So in the center strip, we had 5 2.5 inch squares, and we got a couple of ones sitting in odd places, and we got 3 2.5 by 4.5s, a 6.5 by 2.5, or 2.5 by 6.5, a 2.5 by 8.5, and a 2.5 by 10.5. Now, I have laid both blocks out the same way. You don't have to. All you need is 5 rows of that add up to a 10.5 inch strip. So let's say you have those strips, those adding machine tape strips that are 2.5 inches wide, and you want to do that, it's a go. You can use that. This comes together very quick. So, and I've decided I'm going to show them as a layout, because I've got 2 blocks here. I'm going to show them as a layout for 2.5, or like a rail fence layout. So you can, you get a little more variety going there. So, I just think this is the bomb. Isn't that cute fabric? Oops. Right there. Isn't that adorable fabric? Well, we had to put that in. It was just too cute not to put in. And what I have done is I've pressed them kind of all over the place, so they're, they're kind of a fun. And you can use your darks, your mediums, you can throw lights in there if you want. You can throw whatever you want in there. It will all look good. And I'm going to put the pink in next. Okay. Oops. Now it doesn't matter either if you put this strip like this or like this. It doesn't matter because you're not matching up any seams, right? This is why this is such a beautiful, quick little block. And like I say in the intro, I was getting so many requests to use up your 2.5 inch strips or your 2.5 inch squares because people have them and they don't really quite know what to do with them, right? So there we go. And the last one is here. There we go. Now, the only place that you have a seam that's matching on this is these 2 right here, right? And then there's another one down there. But let's just start sewing these together. Like I say, you don't even have to have the center strip in the middle, right? Because they're going to look really good. And you can press them any way you want, whichever way is going to lie flattest for you. And end. And you just want to match them up. Basically, these are leftover bits and bobs from log cabins. When I do log cabins, I overcut, and I want quick quilts to make out of them, so this is why I overcut, right? So let's just go just like this, and we'll go in, and this will go out. The bottom will go out, and the top will go in. Everything will nest. It'll be fine. We'll just make that sit flat. Oops, there we go. Yeah, this one's real easy to match up. Everything matches up. There's no seams to match up. Well, I mean, hardly any seams to match up. And the best part about this is it looks good. It looks a little crazy insane, but it's fine. See, now with this, if you wanted to press this open, you can, right? Because you're going to be laying them out in a rails layout, right? It would work. There, now. Okay. Okay, so now we just open this up. There. We could do this too. Then that would lay flatter. Okay. Now we could put this and this together. And both of these are going in. The bottom seams are both going in. So you do a whole bunch of little seams, and then you do a whole bunch of big seams. And you line up your end so everything sets nice. You end up with a 10.5 inch block, which looks great and scrappy and lots of fun, and you can put lots of playful ideas in here, very quickly. There, and we're just going to press that one this way, because that's the least resistance, because there's 2 seams here, right? So there's 1 seam here and 4 here, so we're going to, okay, that one goes, here we go, just get that out of the way, because this is getting bigger, and we're just about there. We're just about there at our ta-da moment. Well, that didn't take long. And you can see from this top which way the seams need to go. Right? And that's the only thing we have to worry about matching up. Woohoo! Okay, now we take this off, and we give this a good smush this way. Okay. There we go. That's going to lie flatter going this way. There. So now you've got this thing lying pretty flat. So when I'm talking about a rails quilt layout, this is the kind of layout I'm talking about. This where you put one going this way and one going that way. So it adds a lot of variety into your quilt. And once this is pressed, this is going to match up perfectly. And there's no seams here, right? So you can just keep going along with this. So let's get to this ta-da moment. Okay, this is the block we made. It's lightning fast to make. And it's one of those that's very adaptable, right? So if you have those strips that people sew on calculator tape, and then they have like a 2.5 inch strip, you can use that. You can replace that with any one of these strips, and it would look very scrappy and very happy. As long as it measures like 10.5 inches, because the longest piece here is 10.5 by 2.5, right? So you can have a lot of fun with this. And you don't have to always have, let's say, this row here where you've got 2 4.5s and a 2 inch square in the middle. In your block, if you have a bunch of 2.5 by 6.5s and 2.5 by 4.5s, and you don't have a lot of these left, you can switch those around too. As long as it adds up to 10.5, you're good. You're good. This will look, remember, this is supposed to be scrappy and happy, right? If you don't have enough 2.5 inch squares you can, you know, you can add in as much as you want. If you have a whole bunch of like, you know, 8.5 by 2.5 and a 2-inch square, you can put more of those in your block than one. I mean, this is kind of like up to you. It's kind of a freeing way of doing it. But once you do your squares and strips and rows like this, then you lay them out like a rail fence. So there's really not any, you know, like if you went just like this, it would be a long skinny strip. But laying them out like this gives the illusion of movement and, you know, and a little bit of chaos in there too. It's all good. But you have a good opportunity then to use up your leftover log cabin bits, right? Because a log cabin, if you're doing it at a 2.5-inch scale, I mean, you got a 2.5-inch square and then a 2.5 by 4.5, a 2.5 by 6.5, 2.5 by 8.5, 2.5 by 10.5. Well, you might as well use up your odds and sods that you've got left out of there. So, and that's a perfect way. Jelly rolls are perfect to use in this block. Absolutely perfect. So I hope you have an absolutely fabulous week ahead, and that you win Bob and Chicken, because I haven't won Bob and Chicken in a very long time now, so I'm due. So you take care, okay? Goodbye. My husband and I would love to thank you for coming along with us on our quilting journey and the YouTube adventure that we're on. We have some wonderful plans for 2023. And it includes a lot more, like with the Facebook group and the rooms feature and sewing and hanging out with people. Those monthly Zoom sew dates are still in the works. We have a lot of fun ideas coming up for 2023. And we hope you share, like, and subscribe with your friends. That little notification button and subscribing to us really helps us out. Commenting helps us out too. So if you like what you're seeing, let us know. Even send us a heart on the comment. That helps so much for us. Okay, you have an absolutely fabulous 2023, and all of our best wishes for you in the future. Okay, take care. Bye.